here that fed the pond. See right about there.
Right.
It's
How
very
wonderful.
All right, everyone. So let's get started. Since we have a lot of candidates to get through, want to make sure we let folks get out of here by 1. Thank you, everyone, for attending. We are doing all non-judicial races and the District 4 special election. The order's been posted. Jessica will be doing most of the stuff for this meeting, and she set the ballot. I'm working on a race, and so I'm trying to stay out of it as much as possible. If y'all, I'll let Jessica announce, but we did get emails, just the ballots did get sent out, but folks still have some time to renew their membership if they paid their members last year. And so I'll let Jessica take it over, and Jessica, take it away.
Okay, so members, if you're not currently paid up on your dues, you have till 1 o'clock to pay your dues and still be eligible to vote, as long as you were a paid up member for 2021. The election is already opened. So if you're a paid up member and you were paid up before yesterday, you should have received an email already from Election Buddy.
I just paid up, and so did my wife.
Okay, we'll
David
be adding
Butts.
any new new
Right.
additions on after the end of the meeting. So you'll be getting your email probably about 1:15, 1:30 at the latest.
Okay.
We're
Thank
going to
you.
get everybody collated and dump them all in at once. Okay,
Just
so
if folks are looking for it, it's from Vote Buddy. It's not from what we were Helios.
right, it's not what we were using last time. It's a new software called Election Buddy. I think you guys will like it a lot better. It's more reliable.
We paid up previously, not today, but previously, Becky and Richard Halpin, but only the smart Becky Halpin got a vote notice, and Richard didn't get one. So
Okay, just send an email to info@austinenvirodems.org. I'll put the email in the chat in a second here, but let's go ahead and get started because we are short on time. So again, we're going to be doing non-judicial races today. We're going to be starting with the Austin City Council District 4 special election. Candidates are going to have 100 seconds. That's 1 minute, 40 seconds to talk. If you'd like to use some of your time for questions and answers, feel free. And with that, let's go ahead and get started with Monica Guzman. Are you here?
Yes, I am here.
There she is.
Yep. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Monica Guzman, native Austinite and the neighborhood candidate. I have a proven track record of working with our communities. I'm a community organizer who has worked with and supported low-income residents to increase access to a healthier lifestyle and to stop gentrification and displacement in our neighborhoods. I'm a member of the Reimagining Public Safety Task Force and was the chair of the Restore Runberg Revitalization Team. Austin has an incredible precedent of protecting the environment, parks, and green spaces that I strongly support. At the same time, however, many folks living here feel as though they are being left behind, threatened by gentrification and overdevelopment. Excuse me. Renters and homeowners alike are being priced out of the neighborhoods they grew up in. We need to come together as a community to make sure our values and our people are represented in City Hall. My platform is comprehensive social justice reform, addressing critical needs, early childhood programming, park programming for all ages and whole families, libraries, EMS, especially the community health paramedics, the fire department, and more. Neighborhood stability, tenant protections, homeowners' right to protest, right to stay, right to return. It's basically an anti-gentrification, anti-displacement, and fighting climate change, resilience hubs and neighborhood centers. A comprehensive, sorry, my flub there. A community response team. There are more details on my website. You can go to monica4d4.com, MONICAFORD4.com. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So Monica, just to check in, could you see the timer okay while that was going?
Yes, I could. To be honest, I wasn't really looking at it that much, but I did check.
Good job though. You were right on time. Okay, moving on. Cheetah Vela, are you here? There he is.
Here and ready.
You have 100 seconds.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I'm Chito Vela, Austin, running for Austin City Council, District 4 in the special election to replace Greg Casar. Greg has endorsed me in the race. Just a little bit about me. I'm originally from Laredo, Texas. Came to Austin about 30 years ago to attend the University of Texas, and basically haven't left. I'm an immigration and criminal defense attorney. I have just years, decades really, of involvement in state and local government. And I'm the most experienced candidate. I'm ready to step into the seat and fight for the people of District 4. I was president of the Workers Defense Project. I was on the board there for a few years, and my last year I was a president of the board for Workers Defense Project. I was a president of the Blanton Elementary PTA, and I was Greg's appointee to the Planning Commission from about 2015 to 2017. My three main issues: I'm pro-housing candidate, pro-transit candidate, and criminal justice reform. We have to move forward along those three routes. The transit, very excited about the light rail line. It's going to be an electric powered light rail line, has a potential to take a lot of people switching from hopefully autos to clean light rail, massively lower carbon emissions. And we need good parks in District 4, especially in the northern section up by North Lamar. There's some beautiful creeks up there, but you would never know it because they're not developed at all. They're full of trash. They're overgrown. People cannot enjoy them. We need to open those up, clean them up so people can enjoy the beautiful nature that we have here in Austin, Travis County. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Okay, just as a reminder to all the members, in order to be eligible for endorsement or to speak at the meeting as a candidate, you did have to fill out a questionnaire either with the Travis County Democratic Party or the Austin Environmental Democrats form. So those are online. Those were sent out in the member email. Feel free to read through those and let us know if you have any questions. Next, we're going to be moving on to the federal races. We're going to be starting with Congressman Lloyd Doggett for U.S. House of Representatives, District 37. I know I saw him.
I'm on board.
There you are. Good morning, sir. You have 100 seconds.
Thank you very much, Jessica, and thanks to all of you for your important continued advocacy for our environment. You know, the environment was really one of the top concerns that led me to seek a race that almost began in Marianne Neely's living room to be Texas State Senator here many years ago. My interests have remained the same. And while that looked like a golden era, now compared to the incredible misleadership of our state by Abbott, Paxton, and Patrick and Abbott, it was a struggle. Similarly, at the federal level, we continue to have major struggles after 4 years of outrageous Trump gang denial of science and serving the interest of every special interest, relying on not only fossil fuels, but fossilized thinking. Of course, the most critical environmental issue we face today is the climate crisis. Too little is happening. The administration needs to use every aspect of its executive authority to help us combat the climate crisis in an atmosphere where we remain dependent on two carpet-crat Democratic senators against a constant obstacle from Mitch McConnell. I think we need to push harder and do more. I appreciate your previous endorsement. I ask for it again. If you haven't gotten a yard sign, I hope you'll get one. I hope you'll ask your neighbors and perhaps your holiday list to do the same. And if Omicron permits, to organize a neighborhood gathering that I can join in February. All the best, and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, Congressman. Next up is going to be Donna Imam. Is Donna here? Is there a representative for Donna? Okay. Chris Jones is next. 1 second. There was a message in the chat that he was having some problems with his audio. Chris, have you been able to join from your phone?
I did try to connect to the phone. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine. I'll let you, I guess since you can't, can you still see the screen? Can you see the timer? Or?
Yeah, I can see the screen of the video. It's just I have to speak through the phone. So.
Okay. All right. Well, go ahead. You've got 1 minute and 40 seconds.
All right. Thank you. Well, thanks everybody for being here today. My name is Chris Jones, and I am running for Congress because I think it's time that we renew our passion, our focus, and our urgency in our fight for progressive values like fighting climate change. I believe that climate change is the most critical issue facing not only our country, but us as a species today. I am very proud of our Congress and what they have done in adopting the framework of the Green New Deal and pushing for some of its provisions. But there are two areas that I really want to make sure that we stay focused on. One of those is protecting our hardworking Americans who are in the fossil fuel industry and the communities that they live in that depend on the fossil fuel industry to fuel their economies. We can't move our country forward by leaving these folks behind. So I want to make sure that our Congress is focused on the right programs that set up job placement and job migration programs for these communities, and that we're not completely disrupting their economies. The other area that I want to make sure that our Congress is hyper-focused on is creating climate disaster mitigation plans for communities across the country. I grew up on the Gulf Coast of Alabama. I've seen hurricanes get stronger. I've seen lowland areas get inundated, and what effect that has on communities for generations. So I want to make sure that the federal government is doing more to set up programs to help these families when disaster hits, but also providing funding to allow these families to voluntarily migrate to safer areas of the country where there are fewer climate disasters. These are typically families that are lower income and communities of color, and they need our help. If you'd like to find out more about my platform, please visit my website at chrisjonesatx.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to be moving to U.S. House of Representatives District 21, starting with Coy Branscombe.
Good afternoon. How are you?
Okay, one sec. All righty. Minute 40, you're all set.
Awesome. Thank you. And thank you all so much for having me today. I'm really excited to be here with you all. As she said, my name is Coy Branscombe, and I'm running to represent Texas 21 in Congress, which is currently repped by Chip Roy. I'm a former high school teacher, a nonprofit organizer. I worked a lot in animal activism and welfare. And I'm a native Texan. I was raised by my parents. My dad, who has spent the last 30 years of his life waking up at 5 a.m. every day to get to work on time. My mom, who is a breast cancer survivor. She's also a wonderful mother. She stayed at home to dedicate her life to raising me and my brother. I'm in this race because my parents, Chip Roy doesn't care about them. And he's proven that time and time again, and he's proven that he doesn't care about our environment and our home. And so I'm running for Congress to make sure that we have strong advocates for environmental protections for our not only our home in Texas, but our home, the planet. We have to move to things like regenerative farming and making sure we do more on flood mitigation. So places like San Marcos and Wimberley are not being devastated by flooding again, like they were several years ago. I almost lost several friends in that flood in Wimberley, and I'm very passionate about making sure that we have a home for our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. There's a proverb I'm going to very inappropriately misquote that says we must plant trees knowing that we will never see their shade. And I really biffed that quote, but I love it a lot. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to post my website on the chat for you guys to go check out more. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is going to be Sharif. And I don't want to butcher your last name, so is Sharif here? Okay, doesn't look like it. All right, next up will be Ricardo Villarreal.
Good afternoon.
There
Yes,
you are.
you can hear me?
Absolutely, sounds good.
Awesome. If you can get the
Okay.
timer started, I'll get started. All right. I'm Ricardo Villarreal. I'm a candidate for District 21 as well. I'm a doctor, Army veteran, quality healthcare advocate. I have master's degrees in business, leadership, and one in public policy from Berkeley. I also have the experience to back up the education, working with people from different backgrounds on process improvement projects. In my experience, I've learned that to be realistic about your promises and be ready to over-deliver. I will work hard to get the EPA to do its job and move Texas in the direction of renewable energy and make sure that our lights never go out again like it did last year during the cold snap. I will hold ERCOT accountable and move to ensure that our lights never go out again. To learn more about my campaign, you can visit my website, Vote Ricardo Villarreal. Thank you for your time.
Okay, Ricardo, you still have 45 seconds. Do you want to use any of that for Q&A or are you good?
What I do want to mention is that we also have on the line David Anderson, who submitted his questionnaire but was left off the list. If I can donate my time.
Oh, no, I can absolutely squeeze them in. I'm sorry. Vision.
Hello, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
All right. I'll let the name Ricardo forgive me the rest of his time.
No, you get a full minute, 40
Oh.
seconds, because I'm sorry you got missed.
That's all right. All right. Let me know when y'all ready. All right.
You're all
Hello,
set.
everybody. All right. Hello, everybody. My name is David Anderson, and again, I'll let the name Ricardo for pretty much mentioning me. So a little bit about me. My name is David Anderson. I'm running for Texas 21st against Chip Roy. I'm a nonprofit CEO of Divine Equality that has been around for a year now. Today was our 1-year anniversary. We pretty much do clothing assistance, food assistance around the east side and west side of San Antonio. I'm a former secretary for the Polycythemia Cancer Research of Texas. And in 2019 through 2020, I helped write the curriculum for Southern Career Institute in San Antonio, Texas. The reason I'm running for Congress is because this district needs more infrastructure, it needs better agriculture, and it needs a representative that's actually going to represent the people and not just represent the people that are donating lump sums of money to them. I believe in term limits, like I said before, and I will say it again. If I'm elected to office, I will only do five term limit and give it to somebody else so we can bring in new ideas and not keep the same people sitting in office for years to come. Because I do believe that we need new ideas, new people in office to bring to help the message put forward. My name is David Anderson. For more information about me, go to davidandersonforcongress.com. Thank y'all so much for having me.
Thank you, David. And again, I'm sorry about that. We're going to double check, to make sure that you're on the election ballot. Okay, next up will be U.S. House of Representatives District 35. And we will be starting with Greg Kassar. Greg, are you here?
Yeah, hi there. Thank y'all so very much for having me. And I just want to thank the Environmental Dems for all of your work pushing our city to be an environmental leader. You know, just here in the last few years, I've been proud to collaborate with my colleagues, some of who are on this call, but also alongside you to finally pass an all-electric mass transit system that will address the biggest source of pollution in our city, which is tailpipe. That's not something that we just did as a city council. It's something we were able to do alongside Democratic activists that finally got that across the finish line. Just like in the last few years, we've transitioned Austin Energy from being a heavily dirty utility to one that is majority powered by renewable energy. Again, because of your help and because of our support protecting our public utility. And then also, as of the District 4 City Council member who had the least parks of anywhere in the city, your help passing parks bonds and watershed bonds to bring public space and protection of our environment to our lowest income parts of the city. And I'm running for Congress because while we can make our city more resilient and an environmental leader, we have to also address the real source of the problem, where we have a lack of governance at the state level, where we have a climate crisis that we're having to tackle and take on. We need stronger federal oversight of our electric grid. We need to stop those massive fossil fuel subsidies and transition people to massive new green energy jobs programs. And we need to take on the fossil fuel industry if we want a planet that our kids and grandkids can survive on. So that's why I want your endorsement. I'm proud to be endorsed by Sunrise, both in Austin and in San Antonio. I'm not taking a dime of corporate PAC money or fossil fuel money because I want your support. So thank you so very much.
Thank you. Okay, next up is going to be Eddie Rodriguez.
Thank you. And thanks for having me today. Again, my name is Eddie Rodriguez. I'm state representative for District 51 currently for the last 19, almost 20 years. I've been a progressive fighter for the people of District 51 throughout that time, and frankly, a progressive fighter for the Austin community. When I first got into the legislature in 2003, that was the first session that Republicans had taken over the House. So I had been in the minority for the duration of my time there, and it's not easy, but I still have been able to pass progressive and meaningful legislation for the people of my district and for the people of Texas, because I believe that to call yourself a progressive, you must make progress, and that's who I am. For example, this past session, I passed real solutions for the homelessness crisis that we have here in Austin, and actually all around the state of Texas. But this bill expanded the Community First Village to 2 more campuses, allowing for 1,500 more people to be housed and access to affordable housing through more land trusts, and as well as freeing up $11 billion of federal dollars to our public schools. During my time in the legislature, I've been on state affairs, environmental reg, and ways and means. And so with that, in that position, I worked on bills that would provide no interest loan program, for energy efficiency in homes and in schools, and also try to do away with the economic benefit, which is basically if a company pollutes, that their fine needs to be higher than the economic benefit that they had for polluting, and working on various other issues for tax incentives for renewable energy during that time. So I appreciate your time, and I appreciate your support over the years, and thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, next up will be Rebecca Viagran. I hope I pronounced your last name correctly. Is Rebecca here?
Yeah. Hello, Rebecca Viagran.
Viagran, okay.
It's cold in my house. That's why I have gloves on. But hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Rebecca Viagran. I am a proud Latina born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. I've dedicated my life to service and bringing people together. That will guide my campaign and everything I do as District 35 representative. A little bit about myself. I earned a bachelor's degree from Texas State University and a master's from St. Mary's University in San Antonio while working full time. I'm running because I believe representation matters. Too much is at stake when it comes to the assault on women's reproductive rights, housing, climate change, voting rights, and empowering our working families. I served 4 terms on the San Antonio City Council, serving the largest council district in the 7th largest city in the nation. And I'm proud to have led on issues like raising the minimum wage for all city employees, advancing pay equity and women's issues, tackling food insecurity and homelessness in San Antonio, declaring racism as a public health crisis, expanding San Antonio's non-discrimination ordinance, and expanding San Antonio's greenway system in the southern sector. When Trump and Republicans got out of the Paris Climate Agreement, my city, like many's, committed to the Paris Climate Agreement. But not only that, we organized and voted for the San Antonio Climate Ready Climate Action and Adaptation Plan for the city. Republicans want to shut us out of democracy, and they want our money and our votes, but they do not want our ideas. I fought for justice for everyone, not just those who can afford it or who knew how to get it. And I will use my experience as a collaborator, a bold, effective leader to represent you, your families in DC. Let's make history and elect the first woman ever in this seat. Viagran for Congress. Thank you for your
Rebecca.
time.
Appreciate your time. Next up is going to be the State Board of Education, place 5. Starting with Rebecca Bell Mitterot. Is she here? Okay, let's move on to the next candidate then, Kevin Buico. Hopefully I said that right.
You did, yeah, Kevin Buico.
Okay. You've
Hey,
got a minute 40.
Great, thank y'all. First of all, I want to thank y'all for the time and the space. It's a pleasure to be here with y'all. My name is Kevin Buico. I'm running for State Board of Ed in District 5 to be the first Asian American on the board and to be an educator and an advocate that is in that seat. A little bit about me is that I've started in education, in Texas education, as a teacher's aide and has worked up in each and every role to be a teacher facilitator and trainer, an education organizer, an advocate, school board, block walker, knocker, all of the things. And now I advise a couple of districts across Texas, whole public school districts, and have expanded my reach in that sense. And I've seen a lot. And y'all, what I'm seeing in our local school boards is very partisan and very scary. But I also see, in terms of climate justice and in terms of our Texas ecosystem, are opportunities that we have in this pandemic to do better and do better in our public transit using our ESSER money that's coming down from the state and from national emergency funds to rethink how we're transporting our students to our schools. I want to rethink our school meals that are sustainably packaged and reduce single-use plastics. I want to rethink too the amounts of meat that are included. As a pescatarian and somebody who reduces the meat that I eat, I'd like to see a lot less of that in our schools and our school lunches. Yeah, I'd of course like to see a state curriculum that follows the science, including climate change, including the looming global climate crisis. And I think I'm out of time looking at the timer. So y'all, if you want to learn more, I'm gonna drop my contact info in the chat. It's great to meet y'all.
Thank you so much. Next up will be Juan Juarez. Juan, are you here?
Yes, I am.
There we go. All right, and you have 1:40.
Buenas tardes a todos. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Juan Juarez, and I'm running to be your State Board of Education member for District 5. As a gay Latino, originally from Mexico, I had to wait until I was 19 years old to hear that my identity was powerful and that I had a strong voice. Now, as a certified principal and a high-performing principal, I lead as an educator to ensure that our students know that they matter the most every single day. I'm the only candidate in this race that shares the background of our most disadvantaged students in the state. And I'm also the only candidate in this race that is currently an educator in a K-12 education setting. I'm a principal, not a politician. So I see the immense impact policy has for those that matter the most, our students and our educators. Our state's public education system does not enable currently our students to receive a well-rounded education because it excludes an equitable curriculum for our students, neglects equity training for our principals and our teachers, and puts too much emphasis on standardized testing. As a principal, I've worked to address these issues within our school, where we put our students through environmental units with hands-on projects where they present to their families, because we know that important issues like climate change are generational. This is just one example of the many social justice topics that our students learn about within our school. I'm excited to bring the success that I've had as a principal to the State Board of Education, because as an entity that serves all our students, it's time to bring an experienced educator to the State Board of Education.
All right, thanks, Juan. Appreciate your time. So we're gonna make a brief deviation. Rebecca Bell-Medero has joined, and I'd like to give her a chance to talk. Rebecca, are you online now? There she is. Okay, you're muted.
All right.
There we go.
Thank you for letting me talk. I'm sorry. How long, what is my window here?
1:40.
Okay.
Timer should be on your screen.
Got it. I am Rebecca Bell-Medero, and I have been serving on the State Board of Education for the last year. And I say it's been a struggle, but we've accomplished quite a bit considering the challenges. I have dragged in wording that will improve the science, climate science curriculum, and convinced some of the Republicans to vote on several issues to change that wording. And I respect the idea that a principal has an important experience, but I believe that more important than that is knowing fellow board members and making some friendships and alliances on certain issues. I actually had 2 Republicans help me pass one of my last changes, and that was inserting an important wording into the science curriculum. And all I can say is that I have learned a lot in this year, and I've had baby steps of progress, but I don't think that being a principal is the main force. We must make sure that charter schools do not take over our system, because that's one of the dangers that we have. That as a State Board of Education member, I have allies among Republicans who see this same problem of sending money out of state to charters. So it's Rebecca Belmetero. Please visit voterebecca.com. I'm a longtime environmentalist, and I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Glad you could join us. All right, moving on. We're going to move on to the Texas State House District 50. David Alcorta. Are you here with us? David Alcorta? Okay, no. James Tallarico.
Hi, can y'all hear me?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and get you pulled up, and okay, you're good to go.
Perfect. Hey, everybody. My name is James Tallarico. I have the honor of serving as state representative for House District 52 in Round Rock, but now I am running for re-election in the neighboring House District 50 after the Republicans gerrymandered me out of my seat. First, I want to thank all of you here in Travis County for welcoming me back home. It's an absolute honor to be running for re-election in the district where I grew up, in the district that helped raise me. I also want to thank all of you for your friendship and your help during my first 2 terms in the House. Because of your support, I passed the most progressive legislation of any lawmaker this year, from capping insulin costs to banning reality TV policing to disrupting the school to prison pipeline, all while fighting back against Republican efforts to muzzle our teachers, bully our trans kids, and chip away at our most sacred right to vote. And it's a particular honor to be seeking the endorsement of the Austin Environmental Democrats. I introduced the most aggressive climate action legislation in the history of the Texas legislature after the winter storm, the Texas Climate Action Act, which would have set ambitious emission standards for our state for 2030, 2040, and 2050, as well as marshaling all the resources of state government to fight climate change. As the youngest member of the legislature, as one of the first millennials elected to state government, climate change is an important issue to me, and it's one that I hope to continue leading on in a 3rd term. So thank you all for having me. Thank you for all your support, and I'd be honored to have your endorsement.
Thank you so much. Okay, next up, we're going to be moving to the Texas State House District 51 candidates. Cody Arn, are you here? Nope. Claire Campos O'Neill. Okay, Lulu Flores.
Hi.
There we go.
How are you?
Hi. Okay, you're all set.
Okay. Hi, y'all. I'm Lulu Flores. I'm an attorney and a community advocate with 25 years of legislative experience at top levels at 2 major state agencies and the Texas State Capitol. While I worked at the Capitol for State Representative Irma Rangel, I helped draft and pass the first domestic violence legislation in the state of Texas. As Assistant Director for Alternative Fuels Policy and Government Affairs at the Railroad Commission, I worked to convert school bus and other fleets to alternative fuels to reduce toxic emissions in our neighborhoods, and worked with the U.S. Clean Cities program to educate citizens about air quality issues, and with the Texas Alternative Fuels Council on legislation on the Texas Emissions Reduction Program. I'm a true blue yellow dog Democrat with over 30 years of working and walking the walk on environmental efforts in our community and our state. I was part of the first Save Our Springs effort, fighting against Freeport-McMoRan, getting petitions signed, and also protesting at City Hall. I also fought to close the toxic tank farm in East Austin, and have continued to support environmental movement by being a member of Texans for the Environment, Save Our Springs Conservancy, Sierra Club, Earth Justice, and Environmental Defense Fund. District 51 has been home to many environmental injustices and challenges, that need to be addressed. And along with working on those, I will address important issues of affordability, fair wages, food security, women's autonomy, education, and basic equity. My extensive experience and proven track record of working for social change makes me the strongest voice for constituents of District 51. I hope you'll help me get there to be their voice. Thank you.
Thank you, Lulu. Appreciate it. Okay, next up will be Cynthia Valadez Mata. Are you online? Ah, I see you, but you're muted. And sorry, there's a typo in your name in the lineup, and I just realized it as I was looking over that. But we know who you are, and I typed it correctly. So
no worries. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Hi, everybody. My name is Cynthia Valadez Mata, and I'm running for state representative to continue my service to the community. It's been a tumultuous last couple of years for everyone, especially dealing with COVID and the winter storm Uri, and just all of the economic and social problems that have arisen from both of those. These hardships have fallen especially hard on low income and minority communities that are marginalized even in the best of times. I grew up in House District 51, and I've been active in local politics for over 2 decades, including serving as chair of the Austin Tejano Democrats, chair of our neighborhood, our Holly Neighborhood Coalition. I've been an Eastside Memorial PTA member. And then I was also very active with LULAC, which is the League of United Latin American Citizens, as a council president, as well as their district director. And I've spent the last 3 years as a legislative staffer in the Senate. I've gained firsthand understanding of the issues that are facing our community. Working in and around the legislature, I've seen the negative effects of poor leadership, including mismanagement of our electrical grid, reducing access to healthcare services, lack of investment in our state agencies and IT infrastructure, refusal to address structural poverty, broken CPS foster care system, and restricting voting access for Texans, and unsustainable environmental policies, and that's just to name a few. In office, I promised to have an open door policy and a community-oriented approach to issues facing the legislature. I want to thank Austin Environmental Democrats for all the work that you've done in creating a best environment possible for our Austin and Travis County residents, and I hope to have your support.
all right, thank you much. Next up will be Matt Worthington. Matt, are you online? Matt Worthington. Okay, next then we'll move on to the State House District 136. John, is it Bucky or Busey? I'm not actually sure how to pronounce that. Is he here? Okay. Moving on then, we'll go to Travis County Commissioner Precinct 2. Bob Lydall, are you, or Lyball, are you here?
I am here, yes.
There we go. I said that right. Didn't I? Right? Lyball?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, you're all set. Go.
All right, thank you so much for having me. My name is Bob Lyball. I'm running for Travis County Commissioner's Court in Precinct 2. I'm a community organizer, a longtime criminal justice reform and immigrant rights advocate. I'm also the former executive director at Grassroots Leadership. I'm also a new dad to an almost 1-year-old named Felix. I've spent my career fighting powerful interests like ICE's deportation forces and the private prison industry, and building capacity in communities that are most impacted by mass incarceration and immigration detention and deportation. I'm running for a few key reasons. I don't believe that Travis County needs $600 million in new jails, which is the current leadership's plan. I think we need deep investments in housing, mental health and substance use treatment facilities, transportation, and climate resiliency. We already spend more on our jail than we do on health and human services, community and economic development, and environmental services combined. I don't believe that we need tax breaks for mega corporations like Tesla and tech billionaires like Elon Musk. Before incentivizing unsustainable growth in Travis County, we need a comprehensive housing and affordability plan so that people like my son and other middle and working class people can envision a future here. I believe climate disaster is an existential threat to our community and to communities around the world. We need a Travis County Green New Deal, a generational investment in green housing, good jobs, transportation, and climate resiliency. And I will vigorously oppose any lane expansion to I-35 that further divides our community, perpetuates inequality, and contributes to global heating. I look forward to continuing the conversation, and I'll put my email and phone number in the chat so people can contact me. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Next candidate will be Bridget Shea.
Hi, everybody. And I'm proud to have gotten the endorsement of the Austin Environmental Democrats in the past, and I hope I will again. And excuse my gravelly voice, I'm having terrible cedar allergies. You may know me as a Travis County Commissioner and an environmental leader, but you may not know that I am a fierce progressive with a long track record of getting things done. I came to Texas in 1988 to start the state chapter of Texas Clean Water Action. And I worked as an environmental organizer and was here to fight climate change in Texas. I worked directly with labor and trial lawyers and Democratic Party leaders to elect better state representatives in the early 90s, including Libby Lineberger, who recently passed. After that, I took on Freeport-McMoRan. Many of you will know this history. We took on a company that owned the world's largest gold mine. We organized a massive community uprising and passed the SOS law, which still protects Barton Springs today. And it is our great David and Goliath story. At the county, I have fought and won more affordable housing and more deeply affordable housing. The county now has more than 11,000 units, either built or in the process of being built, 3/4 of which are deeply, deeply affordable. I fought for criminal justice reforms at the county, including the creation of the first public defender office and the first sobering center to divert people with drug and alcohol problems from jail. So I'm running for re-election to continue my work and to fight climate change. It is the most pressing social justice issue of our age. Climate disasters fall hardest on marginalized peoples, and the Biden administration needs all the help at the local level it can give. We've made great progress at Travis County on fighting climate change and won national, state, and local awards for it. I ask for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, we're going to have another quick break here in the lineup. We were just joined by Claire Campos O'Neill, who's running for House District 51, State House District 51. Claire, where are you?
I'm here.
There we
That
go.
helps.
Okay, I
Yeah.
got you. Let me go ahead and move you to the front. You're going to have 1 minute and 40 seconds.
Okay, right now.
Yes, right now.
Okay, great. Thank you. Sorry, I was volunteering at Hillcrest Elementary and was able just to jump on right now, but I'm Claire Campos O'Neill and I'm running for House District 51. And a big reason that I'm running is because I'm an education advocate. I've done a lot of work within Del Valley ISD, helping at Hillcrest Elementary, Beatty. I helped support the 2019 Del Valley School Bond, which was put forward to create more equity within the district. It was an almost $300 million bond, which had the highest voter support out of any school bond in Texas. I also served on the Del Valley Education Partners, and I helped stop a charter school from coming to our neighborhood, which was a really big success just based on our grassroots organizing. So I'm hoping to take that spirit and bring it to the legislator and help continue the work to improve the district. Speaking of environmentalism, I'm reminded of the story that I read recently about a town in Batesville, Arkansas that implemented solar panels in their district. And because of the energy they were able to create, they were able to give teachers raises. And last night I was speaking to a teacher at Hillcrest Elementary that was telling me how teachers' starting salaries are around $50,000, which will get you nothing in Central Texas. The average home price now is $450,000. So we need to have these innovative ideas so we can make sure that we're supporting our teachers and our state workers. And that's what I would do if I was elected. So thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks for joining us. Glad
Thank
you can
you.
make it. All right, next up is going to be Travis County Commissioner Precinct 4. And we'll be starting with Margaret Gomez.
Good afternoon. I'm Margaret Gomez, Travis County Commissioner running for re-election.
in this precinct. I've been involved in the life of this community for 52 years in the Democratic Party, in the community, and in city politics. I have supported the SOS effort in the past and the Poder issues by walking the precincts in East Austin. I've supported efforts to save this planet by recycling, saving water, fighting the STNP, and educating East Austin voters on these issues. I will continue to do that through about the climate change issues as well. On the court, I've supported purchasing land in each precinct for Metro Park and have voted for the land, water, and transportation plan that includes conservation easements and park planning. I've supported the BCP since 1995, and it's in our budget each year at about $13 million a year. I have supported a flood study for Southeast Travis County, and I'm in the process of trying to get the funding for that study. I've supported resolutions for zero waste, the Western Water District, so voting for bicycle paths and sidewalks in the eastern part of Travis County so that there's connection around the entirety of Travis County. I have voted and received funding for clean water for Las Lomitas by contracting with the Maha Water Corporation. Thank you so much, and I ask for your support.
Thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate your time. Next up will be Susanna Ledesma-Woody. Susanna, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
There you go. All right, you're all set.
Hi, everyone. I'm Susanna Ledesma-Woody, and I'm ready to be your next county commissioner for Precinct 4. I'm a native Central Texan, born in Austin, a married mother of 3, a 10-year project management specialist at Advanced Micro Devices, a 10-year Del Valley ISD trustee, one of the founding members and current president of the Del Valley Community Coalition. I have grown up in the Eastern Crescent, and I have seen firsthand the disparities and the inequalities in our community. Most of my focus has been on healthcare and distributive justice, but I'm also a strong supporter of distributive justice, and I'm also a strong supporter of criminal justice reform and environmental justice. Many parts of Precinct 4 are recognized as either food deserts or healthcare deserts, and all the issues that face our community should have been handled decades ago, and support for them should be consistent and not just during election season. I have seen my community suffer tremendously through the pandemic. That's why I'm running and why I need your support. I have a track record of fighting for fairness in every workplace, every boardroom, and every organization that I've been a part of. As your commissioner, I will be unwavering in fighting for voices that have been marginalized. With your help, we can bring common sense and true progressive values to Travis County. Thank you for your time and your support.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, we're going to have the Travis County Clerk, starting with Diana Limon Mercado.
Great, thank you, Jessica. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Limon Mercado, and I'm running for Travis County Clerk. This week marks the anniversary of the insurrection, and it's clear that the fight to protect our democracy in elections is as critical as ever. Without fair, accessible elections, we can't change the policies or elect the leaders that we need to protect our environment, fund our schools, or secure reproductive rights. We can all agree that more can be done to improve accessibility for voters and to promote voter turnout. As clerk, I would expand polling locations across the county, expand voting hours to the legal limit of 10 p.m., pay elections workers more and pay them for training, and make sure our website is intuitive and mobile friendly. While there's widespread agreement on these ideas, my experience makes me the strongest candidate in this race to get the job done. As party chair, many of y'all worked with me in the 2020 to run the 2020 primary election, and as we ran one of the most successful and inclusive coordinated campaigns in the county party's history, reaching record voter turnout in a midterm election. As party chair, we implemented the super precinct organizing model, we launched multiple campaign satellite offices, and we created an innovative community outreach program with the elected officials directory. In addition to my volunteer role as party chair, I've spent the past decade as a nonprofit executive with Planned Parenthood. As a leader of a statewide advocacy organization, I fought for access for healthcare for vulnerable populations through public policy, laid the groundwork for successful litigation against those threats, and advised operations solutions that preserved healthcare despite the legislature's best efforts to take it away. I would bring these same skills to the position of the county clerk to defend against Republican attempts to block Travis County residents from voting. We all know Republicans have marked Travis County as ground zero for voter suppression. I'm ready to take my proven track record of fighting for justice to the office of the county clerk with your support. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up. And I just drew a blank, and I'm sorry, it's Kurt Lockhart. Kurt, and I know who you are, and I'm really sorry about that. Getting
No
a lot
worries.
of
How are you today?
messages in the chat. I'm fine. How are you?
Doing great. Hello,
There we
everyone. Thanks for the opportunity to speak today. My name's Kurt Lockhart, and I'm running to be your next Travis County clerk. This is the first contested primary for this office in 35 years, and I think it's a great thing for democracy that voters will have a choice in who runs their elections for the years to come. Our campaign's recently been endorsed by American Youth for Climate Action because we know that climate action starts with voting rights and making sure that we have shorter lines and higher turnout in every single election here in Travis County. That's why I launched my campaign 10 months ago, so I could go out and listen to voters and build a detailed plan for how we can make voting easier. That's why I'm here today, and I have the experience and the passion to implement that plan. I have a master's of public policy, I'm a Fulbright scholar, and I've worked as a strategy and operations consultant for federal agencies like the Center for Disease Control and the Department of Veterans Affairs. I currently work as the data manager for Raise Your Hand Texas, a pro-public education nonprofit. I've also worked on the ground as a volunteer deputy registrar and a poll worker, listening to voters, talking to young people, helping them to get registered and exercise their right to vote. And what it really inspires me is thinking about those hundreds of thousands of registered voters in Travis County who don't vote in every election. As county clerk, I'll be a presence in the community. I'll be going out and visiting with every voter I can to talk about how we can make voting more simple, more convenient, and more accessible for everyone. I'd be honored to earn your support. My website is kurtforclerk.com. And thank you all so much for taking the time.
Thank you. Okay, for State House District 51, Cody Arn was able to join us. Cody, I apologize, you didn't get an email. I did not have contact information for you.
No worries. I'm just glad that we could make it today. Thank you guys for reaching out. Yeah, my name is Cody Arn. I'm running for State House District 51. I was recently endorsed by the American Youth for Climate Action as well, because climate action is really important. I am the youngest candidate in this race. Part of the reason why I am running for State House District 51 is because I think that we need younger progressives, both running for office and being able to speak to young voters. I think we're at a point in the Democratic Party where we are at risk of losing young people as voters because they take issues like healthcare and climate action really seriously because they are so pivotal for future generations. And it's something that the Democratic Party isn't always speaking to. And so I am running this campaign, championing things like housing, denser housing, and more economically friendly housing, as well as other policies that can help us take Texas, the energy capital of the world, and make it more environmentally friendly, cutting carbon emissions and relying less on oil and gas. I am also running because I grew up here in Texas, lifelong Texan, and I grew up bisexual here in Central Texas. And I know the fears and anxieties that young people have, especially young queer Texans growing up here in this area. And so I'm running to champion the issues of young voters as a young candidate myself. Climate action is very serious to me. It is literally a life and death event. And so I hope that you guys will consider endorsing me and check out my website for more about my specific policies. Thank you.
All righty, thank you so much. Are there any statewide candidates or candidates from other counties who would like to speak? Okay, so again, real quick, just to recap, the emails have been sent out for voting. The software is called Election Buddy.
Jessica?
Yes.
Sorry, Matt Worthington. I'm running a little late. My family and I all got exposed. This
Okay,
week,
yeah,
so
go ahead. Let me
I just
minute
got
40.
back from getting a PCR test. I apologize.
Go ahead and take your minute 40, and then we're gonna have to call it a day.
Yeah, my name is Matt Worthington. Thanks for letting me be here today. I want to tell you why I'm running. Over half of our district in 51 is Latino, both the general population and the voting age population. The district experiences widespread food insecurity, experiences a dearth of transportation infrastructure, poverty, and growing housing instability on account of record levels of growth in Central Texas. These are all part of my story. As someone raised in poverty by a single Latina, I experienced food insecurity myself, having to get food from food banks, housing instability, a lack of reliable transportation, and the overwhelming burden of poverty. Despite my brothers and I all working at Whataburger to pay the bills, it never made ends meet. And my life was changed by people who stepped up when my family needed them most. And that's why I dedicated my career to public service. I became a special education teacher and most recently been working as a data scientist, specializing in public policy data, and have helped nonprofits and progressive officials address complex policy challenges through data. I've actively served our community throughout the pandemic and the winter storm response as vice president of the Del Valley Community Coalition and vice chair of the city's Early Childhood Council. I've worked to expand the number of pre-K seats in Central Texas. I've advocated for the expansion of funding and access to more high-quality childcare. And in the wake of the storm, I helped organize to provide over $100,000 worth of water, food, sanitary supplies, and hot meals to my neighbors. I can represent our community best because of my lived experience, my dedication of public policy and public service, and my track record of serving my neighbors when they needed us most. I'm running to improve infrastructure, strengthen public schools, prioritize public health, and protect Texan civil rights. And I'd be honored to have y'all's endorsement in this race.
Thank you, Matthew. Appreciate it. And glad you could join us. Sorry to hear about your PCR tests. Those are never any fun.
That's all
Okay.
right.
So real quick, again, the recap, if you have any problems, if you are two people who paid under one name, if you didn't receive the election software email, please contact us over here. It's on the right in the chat. It's info@austinenvirodems.org. I'd like to thank all the candidates who have shown up today for the endorsement process. You're a big part of this and we couldn't do it without you. Good luck to everyone. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap the meeting. Tim,
Hey,
do you have
Jessica.
anything?
Yeah, actually, I did want to just say a quick update. I just added people who recently paid during the meeting to the spreadsheet. I haven't had a chance to cross-reference it for eligibility to vote. Just a reminder to everyone that new memberships take 30 days until you're eligible to vote. But if you paid dues the previous year, you're eligible immediately. So we need to cross-reference those lists to see who's eligible, and I have the eligibility dates on there. Also, if you're paying on ActBlue, just remember to update your ActBlue profile. I've had a couple people that had old emails, and ActBlue sometimes it doesn't tell you to enter new information because it wants to make it quick, but then it's just so make sure your information is up to date on ActBlue before you pay your dues. My address was out of date, for example. So that's it. And thank you so much, Jessica.
Of course. Okay. And sorry, it's habit. I'm used to calling the end of the meeting.
No, absolutely.
Okay. Thanks, everyone. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel for the judicial candidates.
Bye. Have a good day.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate everybody showing up and doing the work.